I'm gonna try and go book shopping with a budget of $1 per book, and whatever I find this week, I have to read. Basically, I want to test the question, can you book shop on a budget, and will the book actually be good? I'm currently outside of Goodwill. Last time I went book shopping like 3 years ago at a Goodwill, all the books were 99 cents. So hopefully they're still 99 cents. Oh, actually, I said I haven't been to a Goodwill in a few years. I actually went to 2 yesterday, mostly just to donate stuff. Me and my boyfriend are moving soon, so we're just kind of doing like weekend spring cleaning. Took a bunch of stuff to Goodwill to donate, and I did like super briefly glance at the book section, and I didn't see anything I was interested in at either of the Goodwills. I did forget to check the prices of the books, so hopefully they are still 99 cents. But yeah, I feel like that is kind of part of the con and or adventure, depending on your perspective, of hunting for bargain books. Is I feel like it does just take a lot of hunting. Like we might strike out at 4 stores and then find the best hidden gem ever at the 5th store. Like I have just no idea how today is gonna go, how many bookstores it's gonna take to find a good book for $1. But hopefully we find a good one at the first bookstore. Okay, let's go. At first, I thought they only had kids books. I did find Call of the Wild and then also City of Ghosts, which is an older V.E. Schwab book, which made me excited. But yeah, I thought like, okay, there's just kids books. So I went to turn to leave, and then I realized there was a huge book section literally right behind me. So I felt kind of silly that I missed that. And I actually found way more books than I thought that I either recognized the actual book or the author, so it was actually really fun to sort through this huge book section. And there ended up being 3 books that I was really debating between. I just got out of Goodwill. Can you believe the success I had? There were so many books that looked so good, specifically the 3 that I showed you guys. I was like, wait, I would read all 3 of these. I do also want to go to more bookstores, resale shops, free little libraries, things like that I want to check out. So I just want to pick, I think, 1 book from this Goodwill to read. So option 1 is City of Ghosts by V.E. Schwab. V.E. Schwab also wrote The Invisible Life of Ada LaRue, which I loved. I gave it 5 stars, cried in that book, like so good. And I always think it's really, really interesting to read a really popular author's older books that like weren't as like huge successes. Like, was this book not as big as The Invisible Life of Ada LaRue because she hadn't quite found like her writing style and her groove? Or is this book just like a hidden gem? And then I also found A Walk to Remember, which I ended up not getting. It was such a hard choice, but I kind of want to read something a little bit more out of my comfort zone, and I have seen the A Walk to Remember movie quite a few times. I don't like love watching a movie and then reading the book. Maybe that's a hot take. And then Little Fires Everywhere, I'm also really, really interested in reading. I do actually own a copy of that book already, so I didn't get it because if I read it, I'll just read my own copy. And I think I initially got that copy from a Goodwill a few years ago, so this could be the push I need to finally read that book. I think I'm gonna head home and then we'll decide which book to read. Here's my copy of Little Fires Everywhere. And I'm feeling a little indecisive on which one I want to read, so I think I'm going to read the first few chapters of each book and see if I am feeling both of them or if I should move forward with one, because they're both a little bit out of my comfort zone. This one is actually middle grade, which I didn't realize, and it's more paranormal horror. And then this one, it says, is domestic literary fiction, which I've actually not really loved literary fiction much in the past, but the synopsis sounds good, so I'm hopeful. And Danny's reading with me too. What are you reading?
It's called The Beginning of Infinity.
You're not liking it so far?
No. Super boring. The principle of mediocrity is paradoxical. It singles out anthropocentrism for special opprobrium among all life forms of parochial misconception. It is itself anthropocentric.
I don't know what any of those words are.
I still don't know what it means, and I've read it like 6 times.
I don't know how you're reading this book or why it's enjoyable.
That's like the craziest sentence I've ever seen in my life. Like, what is opprobrium?
I ended up reading the first 2 chapters, but I'm gonna take a little reading pause because my mom is actually about to call me because we are planning a trip to Germany. I'm so excited. I haven't been out of the country in a long time, and I think it's gonna be so fun to have a mother-daughter trip. So I'm about to book flights with her, and that actually brings us to today's sponsor, who is Saeli. Saeli is a travel eSIM app, and if you ever landed in a new country and you desperately need directions or Wi-Fi, you know how important it is to have a data plan when you're abroad. And in the past, I've always tried to get a physical SIM card when I land in the new country, which is just so inconvenient. I remember I went to Costa Rica with my friends a few years ago, and we landed, and then we were trying to find a place to get a physical sim at the airport, and we didn't know like what was a scam, like what was legit, and it's a whole like hassle and time consuming thing. So I love that JustAli is so convenient. It's completely digital. You don't have to wait in any airport line, just swap out any physical SIM cards. JustAli takes care of all of that for you by giving you affordable mobile data in over 200 places. All you have to do is download the app, choose a data plan, install it on your phone, and you can use my code JustAli to get 15% off. So you'll have internet wherever you go as soon as you land without expensive roaming fees. And I love that with JustAli, you only have to install the eSIM one time. You will not have to install multiple eSIMs for multiple countries. That is so nice if you're going to multiple destinations. Plus, JustAli has great security features like web protection and ad blockers so you can browse safely. I especially love the ad blocker because it stops browser ads from loading, which can reduce your data usage by up to 28.6%. So if you're planning a trip soon or even thinking about one, download the JustAli app and don't forget to use my code JustAli to get 15% off your data plan. I'll have the link and my code at the top of the description and in a pinned comment. I'm so excited for all the trips I have coming up this year and that it will all be made so much more convenient with JustAli. I just sat by the pool and read for like 2 hours. It was so nice outside, which is so surprising for Texas in the summertime. And I'm on page 106. It's not quite what I expected, and it's like not something I typically read. It's like weirdly moves pretty slow. Like nothing is really quite happening, but at the same time, I'm also invested, which is like a weird feeling for me. I feel like I'm such a high stakes, plot driven girl. So I'm like, wait, am I about to get into more so character focused books? Is this gonna be a new thing for me? But yeah, basically it follows these two families, the Warrens and the Richardsons, and they're just in this very idyllic suburban town, but they could not be more different families. And it's mostly just like their life and kind of the different intricacies of the different characters and their relationships and how they move through the world. Most of the characters are teenagers, and it feels so realistic to the experience of being a teenager. We get also kind of like the different teenage experiences, like the more popular girl, the new girl in town, but they don't feel like stereotypes. Like they genuinely feel very complex, real layered characters, which is just so interesting to read about, like just reading about life. I do think, however, that we might be getting more into a little plot, a little mystery. The very first chapter starts out with a fire, and then in chapter 2 we go to 1 year before, so we haven't looped back to the fire yet. Oh, hey Luca. But I think that's gonna be an interesting plot point. And then in chapter 9 we're starting to get into a little bit of a mystery with a photograph. I won't say more than that, but I'll read you a little bit on the back. It says, suspicious of Mia and her motives, Elena is determined to uncover the secrets in Mia's past, but her obsession will come at unexpected and devastating costs. Surprise, I'm in my car. I don't know why I said surprise. Well, I guess I said surprise because we have a surprise destination for day 2 of this video, and that is the Dollar Tree. I saw somebody in another YouTube video go book shopping at the Dollar Tree, and I was like, that is genius. I want to do that. And obviously this is the perfect video to see if there are even books at every Dollar Tree, and if so, are they good? I honestly have really, really low expectations for what we're gonna find, but I've been doing a lot of reading, so this is a nice little reading break to see what they have. I also don't think I've been to a Dollar Tree, honestly, maybe since high school. I found the book section, and I'm actually shocked that these are like big, nice hardback books, and I guess they're all $1.25. If it was Christmas time, this one looks cute. This one looks adorable, but I looked it up and it's the second book in a series, so can't get this one. I've seen the Virgin River TV show, so I would totally get the book, but it's the 4th one in the series. Okay, this one looks promising. A beachy mystery could honestly be perfect for this week. I did not end up getting anything at the Dollar Tree yesterday. There was a few books I was like, maybe, but they were all kind of giving me 3 stars, which obviously that's just fully me judging the book off of like the cover and the synopsis. I do still have a few other places on my list that I want to check out to find some more $1 or less books in this video, so I figured I can always go back to the Dollar Tree if I don't find anything I'm more interested in at other places. But honestly, I was like really impressed by the Dollar Tree. I don't know why my expectations were so low. I thought they were just gonna be, I don't even know why I was thinking they would just be like picture books. Tell me why I thought that. No idea, but I would definitely like go back to the Dollar Tree often just to see like when they get new inventory, if they have something else I'm interested in. Anyway, I am on page 287 in the book, so I think I have just about exactly 50 pages left. I'm especially curious with a book like this how it's going to end, because it is really just about the characters and their life. Like there is plot happening, but it's not a traditional plot with like a concrete like beginning, middle, end. So I wonder if we're gonna get a really big like book worthy ending, or if it's just gonna be almost a pause of exploring their life. They don't typically read books like this, so I don't know, it's kind of interesting that I just have no idea what the structure of a more character focused book is. I did finish Little Fires Everywhere, but before I tell you my review, we're gonna go check out some free little libraries. I wanna find at least one more book in this video that is for $1 or less, and obviously a free little library would be free. But I also brought some books with me so I can put them in the library to trade out for another book. First free little library. This one could potentially be good, but to be honest, I looked it up and it doesn't have the best ratings. Did find this beloved childhood classic. If you take a mouse to the movies? Do you remember the one what is it, if you give a mouse a cookie?
That was a book?
I think so. All right, I'm not gonna take any from this free little library. On to the next one. This one is so cute. It looks like a mini version of The Big House. I don't think I'm gonna get any here. I feel like none of these really look very interesting, but I did bring a few books that I want to leave in the free little library, so I'm gonna put one in now, even though I'm not taking a book. This one is All Good People Here by Ashley Flowers. And then I think there's one more Fribble on the walking route, so hopefully this one has really good books. Also, Danny and I call them Fribbles, like free little library, but combined. I don't know if it actually makes sense. Fribble, free. I feel like that's free library little. We just walked by a bunch of kids having a lemonade and cake pop stand, so we got two. It's so cute. I feel like I haven't seen a lemonade stand since I was in school. This one already looks promising. I have not heard of this book, but giving great summer romance. And a Sarah Dessen book. I read Along for the Ride by her, which I enjoyed, so I might take this one. Or should I take the Emoji Code? Tough choice. And I'm gonna put in Shatter Me and Bring Me Your Midnight. Love both these books so much. Genuinely 5 stars. If you need any romantasy reads, these are amazing. Good morning. Well, technically I think it's the afternoon because it is like 12:30. But yesterday I did end up getting one book in the free little library. I got Lock and Key by Sarah Dessen. Honestly, so glad I found this book because I was really striking out at the first 3 free little libraries and I was like, oh no, am I going to find nothing? This book does have the most generic synopsis I feel like I've ever read in a book. It says, Ruby is used to taking care of herself, but now that she's living with her sister, she's got her own room, she's going to a good school, and her future looks bright. Plus there's the adorable boy next door. Can she learn to open her heart and let him in? It's like, okay, it's giving half just like teen girl life plus potential romance. And other than that, no idea what the plot's gonna be. But I have read Along for the Ride by Sarah Dessen and I did like that book. That book did move like a little bit slow to me, but overall I enjoyed it. It was a great summery romance. So I got hope that this book can be good. There's also an Along for the Ride movie. And I think this is one of the few times where I actually like the movie better than the book. That's very rare for me. And then I did finish Little Fires Everywhere yesterday and I did really enjoy it. I think I'm gonna say 3.5 stars. It did have a little bit of a more ambiguous ending. Like I just wanted to know more at the ending, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like that does kind of show how invested I was in the characters in their life and wanting to know what's gonna happen next. And overall, I just absolutely loved the characters in this book and dissecting them. This would be such a perfect book to read in a book club because I feel like everyone would have such different opinions on the different actual like events that happen in the book, the characters, and all the themes, a lot of themes on like motherhood and secrets. I still think I'm mostly more of like a high stakes plot kind of girl, but if you're someone like me and want to try literary fiction and try more character focused book, I feel like this one is actually a really good one to start with. And now I need to start another book. I just posted on TikTok that I have City of Ghosts and I wasn't sure like if it would be too young for me because it is middle grade, but a lot of people were saying that they really loved it and they did not think it was too young for an adult reader. So I think I am going to try and read both of these books before the week ends. It's day 4 at noon. So we have 3.5 days left. And collectively, these have 707 pages. So wish me luck and let's start reading. It is day 8, which means our week of this challenge is over. I did plan to be done with both these books by today. Am I done with them? No. Unfortunately, I'm on page 322 of Lock and Key, and then I have not started City of Ghosts. I did not get as much reading done as I wanted to over the weekend, but that's okay. I still want to finish these books in this video. And I was actually just listening to the audiobook of this book while I was getting ready. I love audiobooks. I especially love going back and forth between physical books and audiobooks. I think it's so nice. I try and get every single book I'm reading also in audiobook form from my library. And I don't know if anyone else does this who's a romance reader, but I was listening to the audiobook and we started to get to a scene where there is some romance happening. And whenever that happens, I have to pause and read the physical book. I want to be like fully present and picturing the moment in my head when there's a romance scene. This book, though, I will say has very, very little romance. We're just finally starting to get to a tiny, tiny bit of romance 300 pages in. It's mostly about Ruby's life. Ruby has had a pretty hard home life growing up with her mom. Her mom was not the best, and she's now living with her sister. That's like what happens right at the beginning of the book. And it's so cool just to see all of her character growth as she's gone from this not great home environment to a much more loving home environment, and how that is shaping her as a person, and like her trust and her loving nature coming out. I don't know, this is so interesting because both this book and Little Fires Everywhere are a little different than what I would typically read, but I'm really honestly liking it. I'm like, wait, maybe I need to try reading books out of my comfort zone way more. Anyway, I think I'm gonna try and sit outside and finish this book. It is so incredibly hot outside, so I might not last very long, but I do love that it really feels like summer now. It makes me so happy. I feel like I come alive in summers. It is the next day. I finished Lock and Key by Sarah Dessen yesterday and I enjoyed it. I think I'm gonna say 3.25 stars. I wouldn't say higher just because it does move definitely on the slower side, and I just felt so proud and like so much love toward Ruby by the end of the book and the whole journey that she went on. There's like so much to kind of unpack in this book, which is also cool to see in a young adult book. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. And then I actually did read City of Ghosts this morning. I love that this book is so short and fast paced. The audiobook is only 5 hours long and I read faster than an audiobook typically, so definitely a book you can read in a few hours. I'm gonna say 3 stars for this book just because it is more of just like a light, fun, fast-paced read. And it is middle grade, so I think it's just a little bit more kind of simple. But I think if I was in middle school when I read this book, I would have eaten it up. Or it's also perfect, I think, if you are in the mood for something more light and fast-paced, but also something spooky like this in the fall would really hit to just read on a cool autumn morning. There's ghosts, castles, graveyards, secret passageways. Our main character can see ghosts and her best friend is a ghost. And then her parents are hosting a TV show about the world's most haunted places. So just like ultimate spooky vibes all the way around, but not scary, more just like in good fun. I also started getting back into coloring a few days ago, and so I did mostly listen to this as an audiobook while coloring, which was really fun. And that brings us to the end of this video. Honestly, this video was way more successful than I thought. I've had this video idea on my list to do for like a year, but I kept putting it off because I really just thought, am I gonna be able to find any books for $1, let alone books I'm interested in reading? And will it take me like 20 trips to 20 Goodwills to find a good book to read? So I'm really happy that I found 3 books that were no 5-star reads, but I still really enjoyed these and I was able to find these pretty easily. It's definitely cool to now maybe put in like Goodwill and Free Little Libraries and the Dollar Tree in my kind of regular book shopping rotation. I'm also curious, have you guys had any like really good $1 book finds or a few dollar book finds? One of my friends found a special edition of Fourth Wing like right after it came out at a Goodwill, and I thought that was crazy. The kind of like hunt of looking for books on a budget is also really fun. Anyway, with that, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!
I can see